Hey, this is Ryan of Happy, Healthy, Vegan. So earlier today, I was watching last night's replay of The Daily Show with Trevor Noah. It's pretty funny, but I've never seen him really talk about vegan or veganism before, let alone make jokes about it, which he did last night. You'll see here, he was doing a piece on climate change, which led into some, I think, cheap attacks, some cheap shots against veganism. So that's why I'm responding here. Let's have a look.
Climate change. It's the gradual disaster that'll eventually wipe us out if we don't take it seriously.
I fully agree with what Trevor's saying here about climate change and taking it seriously, and he seems to be sincere here, so I'm assuming this is the real Trevor speaking, not the comedian Trevor.
Well, think about it this way. Half a pound of beef causes as much greenhouse gas to be emitted as driving 55 of these cars for 1 mile.
Chilling warnings out in a new report that says if we want to save the planet, we need to change what we put on the table and how we produce food.
Some good news, possibly, if we get rid of red meats in our diet, if we move towards vegan lifestyles, if we change how we're using the land, we might be able to reverse that damage, but the clock is ticking.
So at this point, I'm pleasantly surprised to see information and points of view and people speaking out about the environmental dangers of animal agriculture. I mean, you don't see this kind of talk on Comedy Central typically, pretty much never. I mean, this is the kind of information you see in Cowspiracy. So let's see how Trevor responds.
Either the world ends or we all become vegan. I mean, we've had a good run, let's be honest. Huh? We've done this Earth thing. I mean, yeah, it's good. We're done.
I actually thought this first joke about vegans was pretty funny. I mean, I could see a stand-up vegan comic saying this exact same thing. Either choose the world ends or we all become vegan. And it's funny because most people would choose to not go vegan and therefore have the world end. And yeah, Trevor, I thought, was wise enough to just kind of pick up on that irony about, it seems like a no-brainer, right? Save the earth.
And don't get me wrong, I think we should all be eating less red meat if it'll save the planet. But at the same time, if we turn into a planet full of vegans, that's not a dream scenario.
Really, Trevor? Why not?
The hot air emerging from people bragging about how good they are will heat up the planet even faster.
Oh man, okay, so that joke was just plain just not funny. It was just downright offensive. It plays off the stupid false stereotype that vegans, we all think we're better than everyone. And I'll admit, yeah, there's some vegans out there who are super judgmental and preachy and need to tell everyone how great they are. But likewise, you know, every day we get comments from non-vegans, meat eaters, anti-vegans who are doing the exact same things. So you just can't blame that mindset on vegans. That's just plain wrong, and it's not funny. And I think it really shows where his bias is on this issue.
Just be like 7 billion people like, hey guys, the ice caps are melting and I only use hemp.
Hemp? Really, Trevor? I mean, what does hemp have to do with veganism in any way, shape, or form? I mean, yeah, it's a more sustainable product, but we all know hemp has its connection to marijuana, and you're trying to paint vegans as like stoners or something like that, or hippies. I mean, again, just kind of playing into bad stereotypes that are just completely unfair and have absolutely nothing to do with the environmental benefits if people were to switch to a plant-based diet. So why is he even talking about this for? What were all those news stories referring to that I showed you earlier? Well, there was a report just put out a couple days ago by a group from the United Nations, their Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, or otherwise known as IPCC, and it was a document prepared by over 100 scientists from 52 countries. And one of the big key takeaways from this UN report is that over 70% of ice-free land on this planet has been affected by humans. And of this land that's been affected by humans, over 25% of it has been degraded by human activity, how we produce food and what we eat. So the UN report concludes that if we really want to avoid climate crisis, we must immediately change how we manage land, how we produce food, and most importantly, what we eat. That is, eat way less meat. So the authors of this report said we're not telling people to stop eating meat. However, somewhere in the report, and I couldn't find this report is huge, they did make an analysis of which diets are best as far as being climate friendly. And guess what's at the very top of this list? I found this from the Irish Times. Number 1 on the list is vegan. No surprise here. 100% plant-based diet is the most carbon-friendly way of eating. And number 2 on their list is vegetarian. Again, no surprise. This just supports everything we've been saying here for years, that if you really want to make a true effort to combat climate change, you got to do more than drive a more fuel-efficient car or switch to LED light bulbs, which are all cool things, but that is not enough. And that's what the UN is saying here. People worldwide, especially in developed countries, need to eat way less meat if we really want to avoid the effects of climate change, and we need to start right now. And this, again, just supports what we've been saying here for years. There's governmental studies, intergovernmental reports such as this one from the UN supporting what we're saying here, despite the anti-vegans and bloggers, carnivore bloggers saying otherwise, that vegan diets are not environmentally friendly. Again, you guys don't have any United Nations reports to support this, just the flimsiest of evidence. So Trevor Noah, let's go back to what he said at the beginning of his show here, because I thought that this was the real Trevor speaking.
Climate change. It's the gradual disaster that'll eventually wipe us out if we don't take it seriously.
So are you taking this seriously or not, Trevor? Because based on 2 of your 3 jokes about vegans, which were not funny and were just using just bad stereotypes, leads me to believe that you really are not considering the option that the United Nations is putting forward, that maybe try a delicious, healthy vegan or vegetarian diet or face certain climate catastrophe. How hard is it really to make that choice if you really have concerns about your future on this planet and the future of generations to come of both animals and humans? That's what this United Nations report is saying. We need to act now and en masse. So Trevor, I invite you to learn more about veganism. I've never seen you had a vegan guest on, like an activist or a physician or a politician such as myself. You guys know I'm running for Long Beach City Council. So Trevor, please get someone on the show. Get the producers of Cowspiracy to come in. I think you would learn a lot. And once you learn more about the healthful benefits of a vegan diet, the moral and ethical issues at play, I think you seem like a good person. I don't see why you wouldn't want to make the choice to help save the planet and have a healthier life and not needlessly kill animals in order to be a healthy human being. So anyway, guys, leave your questions and comments down below. What did you think about this episode? If you saw it, did you react like how I did? And what do you think about Trevor getting some actual, true, proper vegan spokesman on his show? It doesn't have to be me. I was just joking about that, but comment down below who would you like to see on there. So that's it for this time. Comment, share it, and like it. And until next time, guys, remember, it sure doesn't suck being vegan. It actually rocks being vegan, Trevor. And before I go, I want to give some big shout outs to our latest supporters on Patreon. We have new to us, Sarah87, Randy Reeves, Nilmad Harmonics, John Ware, Hardy Quinn, and Damon Rivera. Thanks so much, guys. Your contributions help us to be able to produce this show on the reg, all our content here on Instagram, everything. And if you're not already a member, check us out on patreon.com. Links in the show description. We have some cool rewards, and you just know that you're helping out one of your favorite vegan channels here. Thanks so much, guys.
Changing your mind again. You've got me spinning.